What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Work Knife Balance. We are going to be diving into a Giant Mouse Ace Atelier today in the titanium version. So this comes through the Pass Around group. Pretty excited to look at this. I've been waiting to take a look at this one for a little bit now, and I'm super stoked. I've already had it unboxed and kind of went through it and stuff. So before we dive into that, though, I want to go ahead and say thank you to anybody who's already liked and subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. You can also head over to Instagram, like us at WorkKnifeBalance939. You can go ahead and communicate with us there. Let us know what you want to see, what you don't want to see, what you like, what you don't like. And if you send us a knife review, we'll send you back some sticker and some swags, just as a way to say thank you. So the Atelier comes in this sweet little box right here. Nothing fancy about it, just a little box with some papers in it and stuff. And then it has this little canvas cloth bag. And then in the bag you have the knife itself. So there is the Giant Mouse Ace Atelier. This is the titanium version with the brass, I believe, backspacer right here. It is definitely hefty. It is a fantastic knife. Really loving this one. It's going to hit my list for sure of things that I would love to buy. It's kind of that perfect size EDC for me, and I really like the ergos on it, plus the aesthetics to it and everything. This knife feels very similar to me. I should have grabbed it before I made the video, but this feels very similar to like a CRKT Pilar. And I have a Pilar 3 with that brass backspacer. Feels very similar to that knife. So let's go ahead and do some quick kind of comparisons and side-by-sides as we've got it out here. So I'm gonna go ahead and move some of this stuff off my desk, but we've got the the Ace Atelier right here. Go ahead and do the Civivi Elementum button lock up top, and we'll go ahead and do the, what do we got to the side? Go ahead and do a pair of 3. So we got the button lock and then the pair of 3 as well that we can look at. Apologies, I should have had more stuff over already, but yeah, anyways, we got the button lock up top and we've got the pair of 3 down below. So you can see size comparison. It's actually a really close comparison to that pair of 3. Pair of 3 is going to have a bigger blade and a little bit bigger handle, but not much. I really like the comparison to the Elementum button lock as well there, but it feels more like the Para in hand. Really feels a lot like that Pilar in hand, if you've got that one. Go ahead and do a measurement, tip to tail. Overall, we're coming in under 7 inches at about 6.75, 6.8. And then the blade length, we're looking at about 3 inches with a cutting edge of about 2.75 right there. So definitely a smaller knife. It's on that compact EDC size. I know they make this with different handle materials and backspacers. You can get a G10 and a micarta and a couple things like that, but the titanium version with that brass adds a lot of weight and heft to this knife, and it makes the size just feel that much more stable and substantial. That's one thing with some smaller knives. When you have a smaller knife and then you've got the really light materials to it, like G10s, the Ultim that you just saw on the Elementum, or micartas even, and stuff like that, it just feels lighter. And I don't know if it's a subconscious thing, but a light knife feels like a cheap knife sometimes, even if it's not a cheap knife. So the titanium and the brass on this just adds weight to that handle, and it really sits in there good. You're not going to have to worry about that at all. Both front and reverse grip feel fantastic. You've got good jimping right here for kind of like putting up there for good kind of technical work if you needed to. You can get your thumb all the way there. It kind of has a little ramp up to it, as you can see right there as well, but you don't need to get all the way to the ramp because you can hold off right here. Feels fantastic in hand. I don't know if we said this, but you do have LMAX steel as well for the blade steel, which is another just absolute premium nice steel. So you can see it right there, Ace LMAX. So that is going to be the LMAX steel for the knife right there. I don't believe these are still available in the titanium version. I think you can get them, but if it is, we'll go ahead and link it below. You can check out prices for a couple different versions down there. If it's an Amazon link, it does support our channel. If it's not, it's just for you to check out the knife and buy something cool that you want to take a look at. So without that, I mean, there's not much else to worry about. Has really good action. That detent feels really dialed. It's snappy enough. you have a good kind of access to that bar lock, or to not bar lock, to that frame lock right there, that liner lock, the inset on the frame, the liner lock right there, and then good jimping on it, so you can access that, pop right over, which is nice. So real easy access to get in there. It's not necessarily lefty friendly for the lock version, but I was able to earlier reverse flick lefty as well. So you can get in there and do a nice little reverse flick lefty if you're not a lefty, and that to me shows me that it's got a really dialed, maybe a weak detent for some, but I like that kind of just run-of-the-mill detent. It's not gonna whip out super snappy or anything like that. It's not like a safety concern for a whip, but it's holding it in there nice, but it does have a little bit of a nice easy whippiness, snappiness to it when you go. It just breaks the detent and then comes right out. So the one thing that I would love to change about this is I would like to see that this clip become a milled clip. I have recently been really loving the wire clips because they don't rip up my pants pockets quite as much, or jeans or anything like that. But on this knife I would like to see a milled titanium clip. I think it would just add to it a little bit more. This kills the aesthetics on this side right here. And I know a lot of people look at that exact thing right there and they say, oh man, I really love this knife, but I hate those little lines for the wire clip. And on this knife I definitely see it. I wish you had like a little filler that would take a titanium clip if you wanted to flip it over or something like that. So I would ask for a titanium clip instead of the milled clip, and then, or sorry, instead of the wire clip. That way you could have the titanium milled and you don't have to worry about having those spacers there. Really nice micro milling on the sides. It's just very soft rounded micro milling, and the edges are actually contoured a little bit, so you can actually feel how nice it is on in hand a little bit better too. It's very smooth, soft feeling, like a malleable metal, but obviously it's not Play-Doh, it's not gonna fall apart on you or anything like that, but it is a very soft feeling titanium and looks good and feels good in hand. So yeah, without further ado though, we're gonna go ahead and leave it at that. Until next time, TTFN.